When most people hear the word husky, they instantly picture the classic Siberian husky. Icy blue eyes, wolf-like fur, and that striking, photogenic appearance. But there's another husky out there that you may not recognize at first glance, even though it's one of the most remarkable dogs on the planet. This is the Alaskan Husky. Unlike the Siberian, the Alaskan Husky is not a purebred recognized by kennel clubs. Instead, it's a living example of how history, science, and survival can shape an animal into something extraordinary. The story of the Alaskan Husky begins long before the breed even had a name. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples of the Arctic relied on dogs for transportation, hauling supplies, and hunting support. These early sled dogs were not pets in the modern sense, but essential partners in survival. When European settlers arrived in Alaska during the late 1800s, especially during the gold rush, they quickly realized they couldn't make it across the frozen landscape without help. Horses sank in the snow, machines broke down in the cold. The only reliable solution was the sled dog. But the settlers didn't just use the native dogs, they began to cross them with other breeds. Siberian Huskies, Alaskan Malamutes, Greyhounds, German short-haired pointers, even lean desert Salukis were introduced into the mix. The result was a dog that was not bred for appearance, but for performance. That dog was the Alaskan Husky. What makes the Alaskan Husky so fascinating is that no two necessarily look alike. Some resemble Siberian Huskies, with thick fur and upright ears. Others look more like short-haired hounds, built for sheer speed. Their coats can be black, white, red, gray, or a mix of everything. Their eyes may be blue, brown, or even one of each. There's no standard appearance because every musher breeds for one goal: endurance, intelligence, and power on the trail. In other words, if the Siberian Husky is the model you see in a dog show, the Alaskan Husky is the Olympic athlete competing for gold. The science behind their athleticism is nothing short of incredible. When these dogs run, their metabolism shifts into overdrive. Human marathon runners eventually hit a wall, a point where muscles can't keep burning energy efficiently. Alaskan Huskies simply don't seem to hit that wall. Their bodies can rapidly process fat and glycogen, allowing them to run up to 100 miles per day during grueling races like the Iditarod. And they don't just do it for one day. They can sustain that output for a week or more. Imagine sprinting a marathon every single day, back to back, while pulling a heavy sled in freezing temperatures. That's just another day at work for an Alaskan Husky. Their speed is just as astonishing. In short-distance sprint races, these dogs have been clocked at nearly 28 miles per hour. But what really sets them apart is not just bursts of speed, but the ability to maintain an impressive pace across hundreds of miles. They are the ultimate combination of a sprinter and an endurance athlete, designed by generations of careful, practical breeding. But strength and speed alone aren't enough to make a successful sled dog. Intelligence and teamwork are just as important. Lead dogs, the ones at the very front of the team, are responsible for following commands, navigating rough terrain, and sometimes even making life-saving decisions in storms when the musher can't see. These dogs learn to read the musher's voice, hand signals, and even anticipate danger ahead. The trust between a musher and their lead dog is legendary, often compared to a pilot and co-pilot working in perfect sync. The history of the Alaskan Husky isn't just about sport or survival. It's also about heroism. One of the most famous moments came in 1925, when a diphtheria outbreak threatened the town of Nome, Alaska. The only way to deliver life-saving serum was by sled dog teams racing across nearly 700 miles of brutal winter conditions. Teams of Alaskan Huskies braved blizzards, whiteouts, and sub-zero temperatures to relay the medicine, preventing disaster. Two dogs from that journey, Balto and Togo, became legends. Balto received fame for leading the final leg into Nome, but mushers often say Togo was the true hero, leading his team across the most dangerous and longest stretch of the journey. Their courage is a testament to the role these dogs played in human history, not just as companions, but as saviors. Today, Alaskan Huskies are still the stars of sled dog racing. Events like the Iditarod and the Yukon Quest test the limits of both dogs and mushers, covering up to 1,000 miles of icy wilderness. Watching a team of Alaskan Huskies charge across the snow, tongues lolling, tails wagging, you realize they aren't being forced. They live for it. Their joy comes from running, from working as a pack, and from fulfilling the purpose they've carried for centuries. So while they may not have a spot in the official Kennel Club books, the Alaskan Husky's legacy is written in snow, ice, and history. They are not show dogs, but athletes. Not pampered pets, but partners in endurance and survival. And above all, they are proof of how humans and animals can shape one another, forging a bond that conquers some of the harshest conditions on Earth. The next time you picture a husky, don't just think of the blue-eyed Siberian. Remember the Alaskan Husky, a dog born of necessity, perfected by science, and celebrated in history. A true legend of the North,